Previously, we've gone over how terraforming works in DreamWorld, and even taken a tour of the 4 biomes that you're going to discover in DreamWorld. Today, we're going to be going over smaller but really cool things that you can do as you explore the game. But real quick, in case you didn't know, DreamWorld is now launched in early access. If you head to the description of the video, you can find a link to the website, which will have a free trial that you can download and play. And you'll also be able to purchase DreamWorld if you like what you see. So feel free to give DreamWorld a try. We hope to see you in-game soon. But here we go. Let's go over several cool things that you can do in DreamWorld. When you explore the different biomes and the different terrain of DreamWorld, there's a few ways you can go about it. You can go the classic route of just, running around with your own 2 feet, going from, biome to biome, from plane to plane, mountain to mountain, and discover things that way. You could purchase a mount that you can ride throughout the lands, which is a little bit quicker. We'll get into that later. Or you can fly. That's right, in DreamWorld, you can fly. There's actually 2 ways in which you can fly. The first way we're gonna go over is DreamWorld's gliding system. So when you jump off a high place, let's say you jump off a mountain, you obviously don't wanna fall down to the mountain. You're gonna take fall damage and die and have to respawn. But what you can do is you can double tap jump, which would be spacebar, and this is gonna deploy your glider. So then you can actually glide throughout the air, and it's a way that you can get from high places down to the ground again. Some of the best places to glide from is the mountain biomes, like the really tall mountain peaks, and even off of the city biome. The city center biome, the floating island in the sky. I dive off there all the time. It's a long glide down, but it gives you some very, very cool sights. The beauty of gliding is that it doesn't require any items to use. Every player is going to have a glider as soon as they come into game. So it's just a really cool way to get around, if you are able to get enough airtime. The other way in which you can get around by flying is, well, literally flying. There's an item in DreamWorld that actually allows you to harness the power of flight, and this is white crystals. If you get enough smelted white crystals collected, you'll be able to basically consume them, and this will allow you to literally take flight in the air. Now do be careful, as soon as your white crystals run out, you're not going to be able to fly anymore. But this allows you to get some really cool views of different builds and different biomes. And it makes it super easy to travel across the land. Because think about it, if you're flying in the air, you don't gotta worry about bears, boars, all the hostile enemies below you on the ground, and you don't gotta worry about terrain slowing you down. We mentioned mounts before though, so let's talk about that. There's a few different mounts in the game right now. Each has different requirements for you to actually unlock them. But if you get the right things, you can get one. What these mounts are essentially, think of them as like tamed animals that you can ride throughout the land. You can call your mount wherever you are and then just hop right on it and start running around. If you don't have the ability to fly, it's actually a pretty fast way of traveling throughout the world. I mean, here, just take a look at me traveling with my mount. Not only are mounts good to actually travel faster throughout the land, they're good to get away from enemies. I use them a lot personally to just run away because I don't have enough health to, you know, kill a bear or a boar. Mounts can be purchased at the floating city of Elysium in the sky. If you head to that biome and go to the middle of the city, there's a mounts vendor. If you have the right items, you can buy a mount, and they can't die right now. Your mount won't get killed out from under you and, you know, cause you to tumble or anything like that. So they're a pretty reliable source of transportation throughout the different biomes and lands of DreamWorld. For our next thing to do in DreamWorld, this is one that has actually recently been added to the game. If you go to the city center and you find this building here, head on inside and you'll find a current of air in the middle of the building. You can take this current of air all the way up. Literally all the way up there, and then even glide down or just see some sights. There's a couple floating orbs going around the building. I tried to land on those. Did it successfully sometimes and very unsuccessfully other times. But yeah, updrafts and downdrafts is something that's slowly being added into the game. So feel free to play around with some of those, especially the one in the town center here. Now, as we leave the city and go back to the, you know, the biomes and the land below, we're gonna specifically take a look at the waters and the shallow waters, because the next thing we're going to talk about is shipwrecks. As you explore the world of DreamWorld and you come across different lakes, you're going to see that there's many shipwrecks in the shallower waters of said lakes. These can be explored, but mainly what they're there for is they drop treasure chests. These are ships that, you know, have had treasure that have been, you know, sunk, and now the treasure is there for your taking. You can get gold, silver, and a currency called doubloons from these ships. And the doubloons are going to be what allows you to, you know, buy certain things from different merchants throughout DreamWorld. You do got to be very careful, though. It's not just as simple as getting in, getting the doubloons, and getting out. These shipwrecks are guarded by enemies. Crocodiles specifically, which have kind of infested the waters around these shipwrecks, they're guarding the treasure. So make sure you bring a weapon with you, and maybe some armor as you go diving for doubloons around these shipwrecks. And speaking of merchants, these are NPCs that are actually located throughout the world. They're not super common, so if you do find one, be sure to ping it on your map. But here you can buy, you know, a few different things, some of which are food items, other which are other items. You can go through the vendor and kind of see what they have to offer. Just make sure you bring enough doubloons and, you know, currency to actually purchase said items. Let's talk a little bit about player interaction in DreamWorld. Being an MMO, socializing with other players is something that DreamWorld has embraced, and we do have a in-game text chat. There is voice chatting. However, if you don't want to do either of those things, you can communicate through emotes. Emoting is another thing that you can do in DreamWorld. We have several emotes, you know, on a little emote wheel, which you'll see right now, that you'll be able to use as soon as you spawn in. Whether it's a simple wave hello, or even just get into a little dance party with people you just met, you can communicate a few different ways, you know, with emotes. We really want players to experience the game together, you know, build together, fight together, explore the worlds together. So it's important that there's many different ways for players to communicate with each other. As you're roaming throughout the biomes and the lands of DreamWorld, there's something else that you might come across. You might happen upon it in the dark at nighttime as they kind of stick out because they shine, but these little pink glowing spirit orbs, what are they? You'll find them scattered throughout the lands in these little gazebo looking like buildings. And and you're definitely going to want to go up to them, because this is how you're going to be able to get free potions. That's right, if you interact with any of these little pink spirit orbs, you'll be rewarded with a potion. They're pretty plentiful and easy to find. When I roam around, I find quite a bit of them, as I go about farming or hunting. And while you can get potions via alchemy, this is a way that you can get them for free, essentially as a reward. Some of the potions I've got are strength potions, speed potions, jumping potions. So let's run around and see how many of these we can collect. Now for our final thing to do in DreamWorld, we're gonna be going over how to collect different building assets. When you spawn into the game, you're given the default building pieces that you're gonna need to make a basic base. However, you're not gonna have all of the pieces that DreamWorld has to offer. You're gonna have to get more by actually going out into the lands and collecting them yourself. Now, how do we get more building assets? Well, essentially, combat. As you go through the lands and you kill enemies, such as goblins, or even, wildlife like bears and ice boars and skeletons, they'll drop scrolls which will allow you to essentially unlock a new building asset. While you might not get a scroll every single time you kill an enemy, enemies do still drop them pretty often. There's some cool, different build pieces you can get. New exterior building assets might be like special themed building assets like castle, themed, or maybe Roman architecture themed. And the interior ones are going to be ones that are like chandeliers and, furniture, but also other stuff such as, fruits, funny little pieces like stockings, gingerbread men. I once unlocked an onion as a build piece. Keep in mind that with these, themed assets with like the exterior architectures, the rules of using any material you want to still apply. So you can customize the look of any new building assets you get, along with the default ones you already have. Now, sometimes you might actually find that when an enemy drops a scroll, it might be for an asset that you've already unlocked. So in the case where we've, gotten multiple scrolls for the same asset, what do we do? Well, you could do two things. You could, one, delete it, just get it out of your inventory. But if you want to hang on to it, you could trade it with another player in the game, give it to them. Maybe somebody else won't have that building asset, they might really want it, and then you can get some items in return. So whether you find new asset scrolls or scrolls for assets you already have, there's always an incentive to go out and kill enemies to farm more building asset scrolls. So as soon as you get, those first weapons crafted, feel free to go out and start fighting some goblins or some, wildlife. There you have it though. Those are several things that you can do today in DreamWorld. We hope that you can try these things out in-game soon. If you don't have the game yet and you want to get it, just a friendly reminder, head to the website, there's a link in the description for that, and you can either get a free trial for the game, or you can buy the game if you like what you see in the trial or in the video, as it's currently launched in early access. And if you like what you see, with the content, feel free to subscribe to the channel to see more in the future. If you'd like to see a volume 2 to this video, where we go over more things that you can do in DreamWorld, be sure to let us know in the comments below. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, dreamers.